And we begin this hour with legal matters. A second suspect who's linked to the murder of Warrick Stock, popularly known as DJ Warras, is expected to appear before the Johannesburg Magistrate Court today. The 25-year-old, who's a Mozambican national, was arrested at Marathon Informal Settlement in Primrose, that's in Germinston, on Friday. In fact, he was nabbed during a crime intelligence operation. He now faces charges of murder and being in contravention of the Immigration Act. The popular media star was gunned down outside a building in the Johannesburg CBD in December last year. At the time of his killing, his security guard had been contracted to enforce security measures at one of the buildings in the CBD. SABC News senior reporter Chriselda Lewis is watching developments. She joins us now live from inside the Johannesburg Magistrate Court. And Chriselda, at the time when DJ Warras was shot and killed, we were told that there were 3 suspects that police were looking for. Victor Majola is one of them. He's recently been denied bail. And now this 25-year-old.
Well, that's right, Ayanda, and we're still yet to get clarity about whether this second suspect that has been nabbed is the shooter. You'd recall that police had described much earlier on the shooter as having dreadlocks. And what SABC News understands is that the man that was nabbed over the weekend does not have dreadlocks, might have cut them off. In this instance, we're still speculating at this particular point, and that might become much clearer as court proceedings get underway this morning, whether indeed this is the shooter. And we're expecting quite a short court appearance. Of course, you'd know, as you indicated, he's facing charges of murder as well as contravention of the Immigration Act. And you would know, of course, that Victor Majola, who was denied bail late last month, the state basically alleges that he had been sitting with the alleged shooter and another man outside that building that you spoke of for about 45 minutes. And one of the witnesses that spoke to police told police that Victor Majola was the one who had pointed out to the alleged shooter and this other man, saying, "There he is," pointing to DJ Warras. This was before he had been shot dead. And basically what we're expecting is for the state to rely on video footage, which we believe they have. They claim in that footage, Victor Majola is in that footage together with the alleged shooter. So this morning we're expecting quite a brief appearance, as it is the first appearance. But SABC News also understands that at the weekend, while police, of course, are continuing their investigations, they would, of course, need to interview this 25-year-old after arresting him. Some of my sources in the Johannesburg CBD also told me there might have been appointings out that took place at the crime scene over the weekend. Appointings out would be, of course, when a suspect is taken to a particular area to demonstrate to police what could have happened, where DJ Warras would have been standing, where did the shots ring out, and give police more details as they continue to investigate this particular matter. Of course, Victor Majola being the second individual, it's believed his link. This case that we're dealing with here this morning, this is believed to be the alleged shooter, but we'll get further details of that once court proceedings get underway. And the alleged role that was played now by Victor Majola, you would also understand the state indicating that they have a strong case against him. Now, this was during the bail proceedings. They said that they have a strong case against him. Also found on Victor Majola's phone with the particulars of DJ Warras's card details as well as that of his partner, and also a picture of the deceased. They also say Victor Majola had been scouring outside that building for 45 minutes with these 3 individuals. What we also need to get clarity on is the third suspect. Are police still looking for the third suspect? There is some information that SABC News has in its possession at the moment, but before I share it, I'd first need to verify it during court proceedings today before we be able to make that information public. But there are 3 individuals that police had been looking for. Victor Majola, who's now been denied bail, this 25-year-old who we believe is the shooter in this particular matter, and also a third suspect. We need clarity on whether there's still investigations into this third suspect. But SABC News also does understand that a little bit earlier on this weekend, there might have been a pointings out that took place, and during that pointings out, of course, it would be a situation where a suspect would be asked to point to what happened so that police are able to investigate this particular matter. So we'll get further details certainly during court proceedings this morning. Remember, police had also described the alleged shooter to have dreadlocks, but SABC News understands that the man that is appearing in court here this morning does not have dreadlocks. Did he cut them off? Those are things that we'll probably hear at a much later, if not in this court appearance. If there is a bail application that is to come, part of those details is something that we'll be expecting to come through as those matters are ventilated inside court.
Fair enough, Chriselda. And of course, amongst the many unanswered questions still is what the motive for the shooting might have been.
Yes. Yeah. And absolutely, Ayanda, I mean, that has been at the corner of DJ Warras's minds. They want to know, who put out this hit and why specifically. A lot of the speculation, of course, that we have at the moment relates to the very same building that you spoke about, DJ Warras having that contract to install, a tighter security in that building, where we understand that some of the residents did not want to pay rent. He was brought in to restore that kind of law and order, because obviously, if you're going to put biometrics in a building, if you don't pay the rent, you're simply blocked out of the residence where you're staying. So clearly, because of the protection orders, we know as well that he had taken out, DJ Warras did believe that his life was at threat. There'd been a number of confrontations that we heard during the appearance of Victor Majola, who was the first suspect nabbed in this matter, that DJ Warras believed that he needed protection orders. Whenever there were consultations had with some of the residents in that particular building, those consultations didn't turn out well. So he did feel that his life had been at threat somehow, hence the protection orders that he had taken out.
All right, Chriselda Lewis, live to us from inside.
And I'm not sure, Ayanda, just for a second, just right here next to me, if this would be okay, all right. Just checking towards my right. I'm not going to show the gentleman on my right. I'm not sure if he's the prosecuting authority in this particular matter. I first need to get permission, Ayanda, whether he's able to be shown. So I just gave a glance at him. I'm always just taking my chances, Ayanda, to see if we're able to speak to those that are involved in this case. But not just yet, I guess. Let's wait for proceedings to get underway.
Fair enough. We'll do exactly that. For now, Chriselda Lewis, live to us from inside the Johannesburg Magistrate Court. Thanks very much indeed.